These are the 15 richest African presidents in history and their net worth. These 15 richest African presidents includes some of the poorest countries in Africa. And it will shock you how much these guys have accumulated for themselves and how long they've lasted in power. These guys have been in power, some of them have been in power for so long and accumulate wealth for themselves. It will shock you how rich these people are. And I can tell you for free that most of these guys, they are more richer than these Western leaders. Some of them are richer, way more richer than Western leaders. And you keep imagining and wondering how these guys will be so rich and their countries are so poor. This is a wake-up call to every African youth, making them to understand that we have everything in place, but few individuals are the ones accumulating and embezzling the destiny of our unborn children, the destiny of our children, and the destiny of the future generations. And it's uncalled for. We can't keep folding our arms, watching these guys ripping us off, holding us ransom like as if we can't do anything. But well, number 15 is President William Ruto. President William Ruto was declared winner on the August 9th, 2022, and he came to power and became the president of Kenya. Since he became the president of Kenya, President Ruto have messed up the system and make the hardship, keep increasing, unemployment rate keep increasing, and everything becomes unbearable to the people of good people of Kenya. Economic hardship and tax burden becomes unbearable. Public debt and mismanagement of funds. And nobody is saying anything. I mean, when Kenyans come out to protest and you kill them, you silence them, you try all your possible best to silence them. Human rights abuse and suppression of dissent. These are the things that we go through in Africa on a daily basis. And it seems like it's normal. It's becoming a norm in Africa. It is not normal. Democratic erosion and institutional undermining is becoming too much in Kenya as we speak. Corruption and imperial lifestyle. That is what President William Ruto has, imposed himself as the president of Kenya. Instead of him making the life of Kenyans to be comfortable, he make their life miserable. 14 is President Cyril Ramaphosa. President Cyril Ramaphosa is a South African president that came to power on the February 15th, 2018. Since President Cyril Ramaphosa came to power, and his current net worth is $450 million. Since President Cyril Ramaphosa came to power, major criticism of President Cyril Ramaphosa, violent crime and public safety failure. This has been what South Africans have been going through and be complaining and be fighting for. And the worst part of it is that when they come out to protest and seek for good leadership, they will be killed, they will be silenced, and they will be jailed for life. And this has been going on in Africa, in South Africa, for a very long time. Secondly, enduring energy crisis. People have been enduring, good people of South Africa have been enduring energy crisis for so long, and it's becoming unbearable. And when you raise your voice, it seems like you become a threat to them and to their government. Perceived weakness in combating corruption. Corruption keep increasing in South Africa day in, day out. This is what Julius Malema have been crying for, have been crying and be shouting every day in, day out. And it seems like nothing is being done. Diplomatic misstep of political optics is becoming too much, even to the extent when he went to America, invited by Donald Trump, the way he was ridiculed, the way he projected good people of South Africa to. It seems like South Africans, their sovereignty is at stake. So this is what we have been crying for. This is what we have been shouting for. 13 is President Paul Kagame. President Paul Kagame from Rwanda, the Rwandan president, his net worth is $500 million. Paul Kagame came to power in 2000. And since 2000, he has maintained the winning of the elections in Rwanda. Though Paul Kagame is doing excellently well, for sure, everybody knows that. He's doing well, and he has transformed Rwanda to a tourist attraction country. We understand that fact. But despite that, there is no reason why one person should, cling to power for a very long time. No man, no country belongs to anybody. We are all Africans. We are entitled to contest for election. Any African is entitled to contest as long as you are up to the age and you are qualified. You are entitled to contest for election and become the president of your country. Nobody deserves to be the lifetime president. For Kagame, it is time for him to step down. We understand the fact that he's doing well in Rwanda. Nobody can deny that fact. he's doing amazingly well, but you can't be in power since 2000 till 2025 and still remain in power and still never want to leave power. It seems like the good people of Rwanda has been caged. The good people of Rwanda have been brainwashed. The good people of Rwanda have been, under bondage. I'm going to call it bondage because when one person hold on to power since 2000 till now, how many years it is? It should be around that 25 years now. You're still clinging onto power like as if the country belongs to you. It is time for there is a necessity for change of government in Rwanda, though he's doing well. Number 12 is former President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's net worth is $530 million US. $530 million US in a poor country where there is low job opportunity, where there's no job opportunity for the citizens, for the youth, and there's no proper medical facilities in that country, and one person owns $530 million US. Now, key criticism of Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency: failure to implement the 2010 constitution. Despite inheriting a transformative constitution, Uhuru's administration was criticized for resisting its full implementation, undermining devolution, suppressing dissent under security and emergency provision, and attempting to curtail constitutional rights. Critics argue this weekend unconstitutionalism in Kenya. Now, number 2, electoral controversy and political tension. Listen, I don't know why our leaders in Africa keep clinging to power and they implement the constitution that favors them so much. The same thing is happening in Gambia as we speak, because in Gambia here there is a draft constitution that have been drafted for a long time, and this Adama Barrow refused to implement the constitution because why? The constitution does not favor him. This is exactly what Uhuru Kenyatta did here before he stepped down as president, and it's uncalled for. Let's do things the way it will favor us as Africans, the way it will favor us as citizens, and the way it will favor our unborn children and our future generations. For crying out loud! Number 11 is President Theodore Obiang of Equatorial Guinea. President Theodore Obiang's net worth is $940 million US. President Obiang is the longest world-serving leader in the whole world. He claims to power since 1979. Since 1979, he has been in power. He has become the president of Equatorial Guinea since 1979. And note, Equatorial Guinea is one of the poorest countries in Africa. One of the poorest countries in Africa. The good people of Equatorial Guinea has been subjected into abject poverty. Not just only that, there is a high level of nepotism in Equatorial Guinea. Nobody can deny the fact that Obiang is trying to replace himself. He's replaced his son with himself. Use his son to replace himself as the president of Equatorial Guinea, because currently his son is the vice president of Equatorial Guinea. And this is what people have been going through. And the funniest thing is that people will be silenced. They will not be let to talk. When you talk, you'll be caged in one place or prison for life. This is what people have been going through. And I keep asking, where is the African that have been fighting for dictatorship in Africa, that have been fighting for tyranny in Africa? Because of Ibrahim Traore, we're getting to understand that these people were created for a special reason, not for benefit of Africans. Because if it is benefit of Africans, I believe so much well that somebody like President Obiang will not still remain in power till today. Somebody that has been in power since 1979, now trying to replace himself with his son, is uncalled for. This is injustice made on Africans, and we can't keep letting these kind of things happening. Obiang, there is a high level of nepotism in Equatorial Guinea. Sincerely speaking. Now, number 10 is President Ali Bongo of Gabon. President Ali Bongo of Gabon's net worth is $1 billion US. President Ali Bongo was a former president of Gabon until 2023, when there was a coup in Gabon and he was forced out of power. He came to power in 2009 till 2023. Now, you can agree with me that the good people of Gabon have suffered a lot in the hand of this Ali Bongo. There was a kind of authoritative, I don't know if I'm to call it dominance, like Ali Bongo was handling the good people of Gabon with iron fist. There was a total, wickedness that was meted on the people of Gabon. Number 10 is President Ali Bongo. President Ali Bongo of Gabon. President Ali Bongo of Gabon's net worth is $1 billion. $1 billion for a former president that have subjected his people into abject poverty, that have made the good people of Gabon live in a miserable and a shambles state. And I keep wondering, where did he get the money from, for God's sake? One person accumulated $1 billion for himself. And mind you, he's not even healthy. You accumulated this money for yourself or for your children or for your grandchildren or for your unborn, generations. You accumulated this amount of money and subjected the good people of, Gabon into abject poverty. For what just reason? For what reason, for crying out loud? And you can agree with me that this man has been in power since 2009 till 2023, when he was out of power through coup. And you can agree with me that during his reign, during his leadership, there was so much authoritarian rule and democratic deficit. During his leadership. That shows you, and human rights violations. He's complaining of people ousting him out of power, but there was a high level of human rights violation during his regime, and economic mismanagement and corruption. That's why I keep telling you, this guy acquires money through corruption. Weak institutions, everything, healthcare crisis, leadership vacuum, political instability, everything about Ali Bongo's leadership was in shambles state. And his net worth is $1 billion. Africans, wake up for crying out loud. Now, number 9 is former President Robert Mugabe. Late former President Robert Mugabe's net worth is $3.2 billion. That $3.2 billion. And I keep wondering, these people, what are they accumulating wealth for? Because at the end of the day, none of us will be here forever. And this man is already dead. And now his net worth is $3.2 billion. Who is going to spend this money? That is what I want to know. This man clings to power since 1980 to 2017, when he was out of power. Since 1980 to 2017, when he was out of power. This man died in leadership, accumulated wealth for his children, accumulated wealth for his unborn children, accumulated wealth for generation that he will never even met, and subject his people into abject poverty. In fact, you can agree with me that in Zimbabwe today, there is a high level of abject poverty in Zimbabwe. And the unemployment rate keep increasing in Zimbabwe. But you accumulated $3.2 billion for yourself. Is that not wickedness? Is that not selfishness? Let's wake up, Africans. Now, number 8 is former President Daniel Arap Moi of Kenya. Former President Daniel Arap Moi of Kenya. His net worth is $3.6 billion. $3.6 billion. And I believe pretty well that this man is so old that he don't even know what is value of money anymore. He don't even know value of money. That means he accumulated wealth for himself, accumulated wealth for his children, accumulated wealth for his unborn children, unborn generations to come. Forgetting that the good people of Kenya need to be taken good care of. The good people of Kenya need to, provided, basic amenities, and you accumulated over $3.6 billion for yourself. This is the problem that we have in Africa. Until there is a revolution in Africa, all these things will not stop. It will not stop anytime soon. If you are expecting these things to stop anytime soon, you are wasting your time. $3.6 billion for a former president of Kenya is sad. Very, very sad. Now, this number 7. Number 7 is Nigerian former president, General Sani Abacha of Nigeria. General Sani Abacha's net worth is 7.8 billion US dollars. 7.8 billion US dollars is former President General Sani Abacha's net worth. Now, come to think of it, General Sani Abacha came from the northern part of Nigeria. And the northern part of Nigeria is one of the poorest regions in Africa. One of the poorest regions in Africa. Now, I want to ask a question. What was the positive effect of him accumulating this money? And where is this money? What have he done? What did he do for the good people of Hausa people? What did he do for them? Did he build Amajiri school? I mean, when you come to the north today, you see children that are out of school, that are on the street begging for food. If you come to the north today, you see children that are suffering. You see pregnant women that are suffering. They don't even have food to eat. They don't even have money to go to the hospital. You know, poverty keeps increasing in the north. And one person accumulated 7.8 billion US dollars for himself. Is this no wickedness? I mean, I keep asking. You know, the average African mentality is always that politics is an avenue to become wealthy, because they think that once you become a politician, now you are wealthy. You have access to public funds. You can eat public fund and anyhow you want and anytime you want it. But you're forgetting that public fund is like poison. The more you eat, the more you are destroying your destiny. Look at Nigerian politicians today. Most of them are not healthy, and you see the way they die. Wickedness meted on human being. Now, number 6 is Zine El Abedin Ben Ali of Tunisia. Zine El net worth is 14 billion US dollars. Well, I don't know much about North Africa. Sincerely speaking, I'm not going to lie. But I believe pretty well that for a president to accumulate such amount of money for himself is too much. You're not a businessman. You do not own any company. What you do, your job is to become a president. You have to give account of this money. One person accumulating $14 billion for himself alone and for his family. And you subject your people into abject poverty. I mean, this is uncalled for. This is totally uncalled for. You see Tunisians jumping Mediterranean Sea. You think everything is okay in Tunisia. Nothing is okay there. Tunisians are jumping Mediterranean Sea to cross to Europe to look for greener pasture. And one person is accumulating 14 billion US dollars for himself and his family alone and subjecting their people into abject poverty. We Africans, when will we change our mindset, understand that it's the duty of the government to take care of us and provide basic amenities for us than to be singing praises to them, making them feel like they have done enough or they are demigod to us. One person accumulating 14 billion US dollars for himself alone and his family is totally uncalled for. It's outrageous. And we cannot sit on the fence watching these kind of things happening to us while we sit back thinking that everything is going to be fine. Nothing is going to be fine until we take a bold step. Number 5 is Mobutu Sese Seko of the Republic of Congo. Mobutu's net worth is 15.2 billion US dollars. I mean, brothers, 15.2 billion US dollars. 15.2 billion US dollars in a country where there is war, in a country that has all mineral resources that you can think of. Congo is blessed with natural resources. Name them. But few individuals are the ones gathering this money, embezzling this money for themselves and for their family members to enjoy in the expense of people's sufferness. This is uncalled for. This is outrageous. How long is this thing going to be happening? Congo today is at war. Congo is on rest today. Congo is in a shambles state. Congo people are suffering. They are going through a lot at this point in time. And one individual is accumulating 15.2 billion US dollar for himself. Is this no wickedness? And people of Congo are suffering, dying of hunger, dying in abject poverty. This is pure wickedness. Now, number 4 is Jose Eduardo dos Santos of Angola. Jose Eduardo dos Santos' net worth is 25.8 billion US dollars. And mind you, His daughter is one of the richest women in Africa. His daughter is one of the richest women in Africa. In fact, his daughter is second richest woman in Africa. I think second richest or first richest woman in Africa after Florence Alakeja. Now, this money was made through government. This is what they do. When they clinch to power, they become so wealthy that even their extended family members will be wealthy as well. And this has been going on for a very, very long time. And you subject your people into abject poverty for your own selfish gain, for your own selfish reason. This is one of the reasons why their children never schooled in Africa. None of their children lives in Africa. What they do is when they accumulate this wealth and they don't know how to spend it, they will go to America. America is safe haven for them. They will go to America, buy mansions, buy villas there, and send their children and their relatives there to go and have good life, then come back to Africa to come and play politics with the lives of Africans. This is uncalled for. For one person to own over 25 billion US dollar is outrageous, for crying out loud. Now, number three is former President Ibrahim Babangida. Former President Ibrahim Babangida was a former Nigerian military president. Now, his net worth is 27.9 billion US dollar. And mind you, President Babangida came from the northern part of Nigeria, just like General Sani Abacha. President Babangida stayed in power for a very long time, and he accumulated wealth for himself, over $27.9 billion for himself. Now, the good people of northern part of Nigeria is one of the poorest region in Africa. I said it before. Northern part of Nigeria is one of the poorest region in Africa. Nobody can deny that fact. That the good people of Hausa people have been suffering for so long. They've been brainwashed. They've been used to play politics. They will be encouraged to marry more and have more kids so that they can be using them in the election period, during the election period. And this is uncalled for. You subject these people, you can't even build a Almajiri school, free schools in the north. Hausa children are littered everywhere in the street of Nigeria, begging for food, begging for money, and most of their female children have been, sent to, early marriage because of poverty. This is uncalled for. This is wickedness that has been meted on your people because of your own selfish interest and gain, for crying out loud. Now, number 2 is Hosni Mubarak of Egypt. Hosni Mubarak's net worth is 98.2 billion US dollars. 98.2 billion US dollars. Hosni Mubarak, the president of Egypt, acquiring over 98.2 billion US dollars. Mind you, this is not a businessman. This is not a business tycoon. How did he manage to acquire such wealth? How did he manage to acquire such net worth? Over $98.2 billion. Africa, where are we going from here? Where are we heading to? That we can't even talk, even when we are being pushed to the wall, we can't even respond. People of Egypt have been subjected into abject poverty. If you look around today, you get to understand even the northern Africans are jumping Mediterranean Sea to cross to Europe to look for greener pasture because of the bad leadership of their leaders. How they have been subjected into abject poverty, how basic amenities are not being provided to them. If at all everything is all right in Africa, do you think any African would jump Mediterranean Sea to cross to Europe for greener pasture? And the worst part of it is that when they cross to that Europe, they will also be subjected into slavery kind of condition. Some of them will be thrown into farm in Malta. Some of them will be thrown into farm in Italy, in Spain, and all the rest. This is wickedness meted on Africans. And we can't sit on the fence watching this kind of menace happening in our continent and we close our mouth. It is time for us to start speaking up, raising our voices. Like I always say, if you have the platform, try to speak up. It is high time for every African to wake up and speak up. This is high time. Now, number 1. We have the number 1. Number 1 is somebody that I consider a hero. Somebody that I consider an icon. Somebody that I consider as a true Pan-Africanist. Somebody that I consider as someone that has Africa at heart, genuinely from the depth of his heart, is Muammar Gaddafi, Muammar Gaddafi is a former Libyan president. His net worth is 280 billion US dollars. Muammar Gaddafi accumulated wealth for himself. We understand that fact. But he utilized the resources of the good people of Libya. At least Gaddafi made the life of Libyans so comfortable and easy, to the extent that Libyans, during the time of Gaddafi, you hardly see Libyans anywhere in the world looking for greener pasture anywhere. Because why? He made the life of Libyans so comfortable that he provided basic amenities, making sure that every single Libyan enjoys the dividends of democracy. And even across African countries, there's no African country in Africa today that would deny the fact that they benefited from Gaddafi's regime. Yeah, we understand the fact that Gaddafi accumulated wealth for himself, but Gaddafi was a true Pan-Africanist that had Africa at heart and wanted the best for Africa. He championed one African continent where we can have one borderless Africa, one African currency, and one African leadership. And that would have made Africa one of the best continents on earth. For instance, now Gaddafi created a river in the sea, in the desert, and created a farm inside the desert where rice were planted, and to the extent that Libya had one of the best rice in Africa as of then. But now, since there's no Gaddafi, where is Libya today? Till today, 2025, there's no leadership in Libya. There is no government in Libya since 2011, when Gaddafi was murdered in cold blood by the Americans. Till today, there's no leadership in Libya, and everybody is on mute. Nobody's saying anything. No African Union is quiet. They can't even do anything. Does it mean that Libya is more powerful than African Union, that African Union cannot do anything to unite Libyans and provide leadership for them? For crying out loud. Kudos to Gaddafi. Gaddafi is an icon. We must reckon on. We must count on. Gaddafi wanted the best for Africa. So don't be carried away by the news that they impeded to ridicule him, to tarnish his image, and make everybody in the world to see him as a demon. Gaddafi was one of the best presidents in Africa. One of the best presidents that made the lives of his citizens so comfortable. During the time of Gaddafi, you can agree with me that a pregnant woman that goes to the labor room comes out with $1,000 US. As of then, during the time of Gaddafi, Gaddafi made sure that Libyans are comfortable. There is, Libyan resources were utilized by Libyans. There was a refinery built in Libya by Gaddafi. There's no need for Libyans to ship their resources or their crude oil out of Libya for refining. But it's happening in Nigeria. Nigeria, as one of the greatest and richest country in Africa, ships their crude oil to another country for refining, and then they will send it back to Nigeria. Kudos to Gaddafi. Gaddafi is a leader that we are praying to have. Somebody like Gaddafi is the reason why we were standing where we are standing today, speaking and demanding for the betterment of Africans. Thank you very much, guys.